Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, voice you know with the news you trust studio, sponsored by BASF, where the performance of Veltima fungicide could take your best results even farther. The National Cattlemen's Beef Association responded to the latest announcement that the U.S. Department of Agriculture is again closing southern ports of entry to the shipments of cattle due to the detection of New World screwworm in Veracruz, Mexico. USDA discovered this new case in northern Veracruz, indicating the screwworm has traveled 160 miles north of the location where sterile flies are currently being dropped. A key part of USDA's strategy for protecting American agriculture is continuously monitoring conditions on the ground, said NCBA CEO Colin Woodall. Secretary Rollins has been working to balance the economic needs of U.S. cattle producers who rely on imports while at the same time protecting the overall U.S. cattle herd. The New World screwworm's northward movement jeopardizes the safety of American agriculture, which is why Secretary Rollins paused cattle movement again until we can push the screwworm further from our border. Secretary Rollins has made significant gains, holding Mexico accountable for their role in eradicating the New World screwworm. She successfully removed bureaucratic barriers to the screwworm sterile fly flights and increased surveillance in Mexico. Unfortunately, screwworm continues to move north through Mexico, and it's clear the United States needs a sterile fly facility of our own here at home. We cannot wait any longer, and we urge USDA to immediately begin work on a sterile fly facility, Woodall added. Today's weather brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's the forecast.
Dry weather to finish out the week this week. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. We've got some moisture trying to build to our west here through the Friday time frame, watching Iowa fill in with some strong storms, Minnesota, Wisconsin, northern Illinois. All of those folks are getting moisture. That's part of the reason why you continue to hear the talking points on the market side say beautiful weather, good moisture, no dryness, no problems for a large part of the growing area. I will tell you, there's some of us here that could use a rain, and we're not going to get a whole lot in the short haul. I think we have to wait till we get into midweek till we see better chances come together. But here's what's going on today and tomorrow. We're looking at sunny and dry weather conditions, humidity values going up, but I do not think that we have a big shot of rain at all, either today or tomorrow. Overnight tomorrow night into Sunday, that's when we can see some scattered showers and thunderstorms trying to pop up, but the frontal boundary seems to be diminishing or falling apart as it gets here. So I'm going to put coverage only at about 60%, few hundreds to half an inch, maybe. If we can get to 3/4, we're going to be lucky in the area as we move from late tomorrow night into and through Sunday. By the time we get into next week, Monday, Tuesday is sunny and dry, pleasant with temperatures pulling back a little bit behind this front. By the time we get to midweek, humidity values are on their way back up, and we do see some on-again, off-again rain for next Wednesday night through Thursday and into Friday morning and midday. Altogether there, we can see 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch with coverage at around 75 to 80% of the Buckeye State. Behind it, we cool down for the weekend of the 19th and 20th. The humidity values drop as well. Next week, the week of the 21st and 22nd, we're looking at showers and thunderstorms for late the 21st and 22nd, and then mostly dry for the rest of the week. I'm meteorologist Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. In conjunction with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Department of Labor, Department of Justice, and the Department of Education, the U.S. Department of Agriculture issued notice to all relevant program partners, making clear its interpretation of the term federal public benefit as used in Title IV of the Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Reconciliation Act of 1996. The notice also identifies potential USDA programs that provide federal public benefits within the scope of that program. The generosity of the American taxpayer has long been abused by faulty interpretations of the 96 Welfare Reform Law, said Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins. This notice makes clear its intent. Illegal aliens should not receive government dollars. This effort is one of many by the Department of Agriculture to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse of USDA's programs and policies. her first full day in office, Secretary Rollins sent a letter to our nation's state, tribal, and territory and local government partners outlining her vision for the department. This vision includes taking swift action to minimize instances of fraud, waste, and program abuse, and encouraging states to choose policy options that protect both participants and the taxpayer. On April 24th of 2025, the department issued guidance to all state agencies directing them to ensure that illegal immigrants do not receive federal benefits. The guidance requires enhanced identity and immigration verification practices when determining eligibility for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. And it is one of many steps toward fulfilling President Trump's executive order ending taxpayer subsidization of open borders. On May 6th, the department sent a letter to make certain all records associated with SNAP, including benefit allotments, are shared with the federal government. And don't forget, powered by Soy Biodiesel on Monday will take in the Crawford County Fair, all thanks to Nature's Premium Liquid Fertilizers since 1946. Also going on will be the 26th annual Greenville Farm Power of the Past at the Darke County Fairgrounds. It runs July 10th through the 13th in Greenville, Ohio. Visit their website for more details, www.greenvillefarmpower.org. Coming up on the calendar will be the 2025 Twilight Tour and Dairy Summit. You're invited to the Wayne Ashland Twilight Tour and Dairy Summit, which will be held at Zedu Valley Dairy LLC in Worcester. It'll be on July 15th. This year's Dairy Summit program will focus on manure application research and the role of manure and perennial forages on soil health. They'll also have updates from the Ohio Department of Agriculture, OSU Extension, and Ohio Dairy Producers Association, as well as American Dairy Association Mid-East. The Twilight Tour will feature a tour of Zedu Valley Dairy, an allied industry trade show. A selection of food truck vendors will be present for you to pick from. There's a $10 per person charge for meals. All attendees will be provided a voucher for free ice cream at registration. Parking will be at the farm. In the event of inclement weather, parking and shuttles will run from Tri-Way High School. That location is 3024 South Jefferson Road, Worcester, Ohio. And again, for more information, you can always go to the website wayne.osu.edu. That's wayne.osu.edu. Enjoy the Twilight Tour. Back with more after this.
Whether you're in the fields or on the farm, creating a safer work environment has never been easier. BWC's safety consulting services are included with your policy premiums and offer training and education for everyone in your farming operation. It's always the right time to make safety a priority. Visit bwc.ohio.gov or call 1-800-644-6292. The Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation, here to help you work safely.
Friday, July 25th is Recovery Ohio's Mental Health Day at the Ohio State Fair. Visit the Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services, the Department of Insurance, and other state agency booths. Join us on Friday, July 25th for Recovery Ohio's Mental Health Day at the Ohio State Fair. We'll see you there.
Ohio State's Leadership Center has opened the applications for Ag One, a year-long program for leaders within the agriculture industry who are interested in identifying the next steps for themselves to level up their leadership. Applications and nomination letters are due Friday, August 1st at 11:59 p.m. This program is for individuals who want to make a meaningful impact on agriculture in Ohio. It allows participants to galvanize the individual influence they can have on their industry. Through leadership training, Dr. Shannon Washburn, professor and chair of the Department of Agriculture, Communication, Education, and Leadership, will lead this program. For more information, you can check it out at ag1, ag1.osu.edu. Oil futures softened Thursday morning after U.S. President Trump threatened to impose a 50% tariff on all goods imports from Brazil by August 1, signaling a willingness to revert to high import duties, which stoked bearish sentiment. On Wednesday, the U.S. Energy Information Administration confirmed an industry report seeing domestic commercial crude oil stockpiles surging the most since January. Earlier in the week, the White House sent letters to trading partners announcing tariffs by August 1 and dismissed the possibility of yet another extension of the August 1 tariff deadline. On Tuesday, the president announced a 50% tariff on copper imports into the U.S. and a 25% tariff on pharmaceuticals and semiconductors. While markets have become less reactive to tariff announcements by the U.S. administration, recent statements by the White House have added to fears the president plans to revert to a hawkish, high-tariff trade policy. Higher tariffs are set to curb oil demand growth at a time when OPEC plans to significantly ramp up production, elevating global oversupply concerns. Meanwhile, the EIA reported crude oil inventories surging by 7.1 million barrels last week, marking the largest weekly build since January. Sizable draws to gasoline and diesel inventories, however, partially blunted the bearish effect of this surprising jump in crude oil stockpiles. Today's market analysis is brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company, excited to be building the newest state-of-the-art soybean crush facility in Upper Sandusky, Ohio. For marketing information of your beans to LDC, call 574-566-2113. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets finished mixed on Thursday. Here we are setting up to see if we can get any kind of positivity out of the week here today. The one thing that we have going on, it's the WASDE report. USDA's supply and demand. Here's the story. I don't think it has any major chance at bringing a surprise. Corn, if they do anything, they will move the exports up just a little bit. On beans, there's nothing that's going to happen on the supply and demand report. Most of what we're seeing in the market right now is all about trade. Soybean futures chopped back and forth yesterday, spent a large part of the day weaker because the Brazilian real dropped sharply. Why? Well, because we've got this trade tiff going on between the U.S. and Brazil. Remember, the Trump administration slapped a 50% tariff on Brazil. Brazil's president stood up and said, "No, sir, I don't like it. And here's why I don't like it. Stop singing the praises of my predecessor, the former president of Brazil. He was a crook. We're bringing him up on criminal charges. Stop talking about him. Hey, I don't like it very much. It's a witch hunt. You guys are going after the guy. He's a good guy." That's what it was. That Ryan Martin paraphrase brought to you by Seed Consultants. No, it's not brought to you by Seed Consultants. But here's the story. That trade tiff going on and on and on with Brazil definitely dropped the real, and that is going to have the Brazilian producers using that 2 to 3% decline to sell their stored grain supply. Lots of grain, corn and beans hitting the market in Brazil due to this little trade tiff and the dropping of the Brazilian real. Brokers estimate yesterday managed money sold a net 1,400 contracts of corn, 2,100 contracts of beans, bought 1,900 wheat. We did see the wheat market bounce a little bit yesterday. Harvest is wrapping up here across northwest Ohio, but the wheat market still is a relative dog compared to anything else. Well, corn and beans haven't been faring too well either recently. This market just doesn't have a lot of demand strength in it. I'm Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Today's market's brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Overnight at the open, December corn down 1 3/4 at $4.14 3/4. March down 2, trading $4.31 3/4. The November beans are down 1 1/4 at $10.12 January down 1 1/2 at $10.29. July wheat unchanged at $5.50 1/4. September down 2 1/4 at $5.52 1/4. December, if you carry it out, is down 1 3/4, but at $5.73 1/4. In livestock, August cattle, $219.22, down 55 at the close. October down 27 at $217.07. July lean hogs up 15 cents at $107.25. August $106.22 and down $1. September feeder cattle up $1.20 at $321.22. October up $1.10, closing at $319.12, and November up $1.05 at $316.07. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dale Minyo. This is the Ohio AgNet.